Hi friends, Mindy here. I have days 21 through 24 for you today of my 100-day project. On this day, I have pulled out one of my cards that has kind of the busy background. This is like a scrapbooking paper. And I am just going to be collaging over the top of this with some of this Tim Holtz tissue paper. I just have had this in my stash for a long time, as with a lot of things. This was kind of a weird situation. The paper just really sucked up all of the matte medium that I was using, so I had to apply it twice to get this tissue paper to stick down. And then I'm just going over this with another coat over top, just trying to make sure that everything is nice and stuck down. I kind of wanted to subdue that busy background a little bit with this beautiful tissue paper. And just again, if you're new to my channel or to these videos, I'm trying to use up my stash of things and just kind of use some supplies that I haven't used in a while, and just to try, because sometimes, they're out of sight, they're out of mind, and just trying to bring back some of these techniques and things to my mind and use up my stash and everything. So that is what I'm doing here. I have not used this tissue paper in just a really long time. So you just saw me drying that with my heat tool there, and I have set a timer for 15 minutes for each of these videos. Some of them took a little bit less than that. It just depended kind of on the day. And then I am also just trying to kind of balance the issue of like trying to have to dry things and with my 15-minute minimums here. So what you saw me do there is I applied just a little wash of gesso. I keep this in an actual bottle. When my bottle of gesso kind of got really low, I just added some water to it, and I just keep that as a wash, so I don't have to just keep adding water, to white paint all the time. It just makes it a little bit easier. So here I'm going through a stack of vintage labels that I have. I think I've got these from Your Creative Studio, if I remember correctly, in one of the sub boxes. And I just pulled out a couple of the these are actually sticker labels, and so I just pulled out a couple of them that I thought would look good, just kind of with the background. This is going to be just a really simple card today. So I just stuck those down. I took the one that was like the long purple one, and I just ripped it in half, and then I used both sides just to kind of fill in that area, and then stuck the kind of the greenish one over the top. And then I'm going to go around with Distress ink around the outside, just to kind of frame everything. And then I decided I wanted to add a little bit more purple, so I'm using some acrylic ink here, and I watered that down a little bit, and I'm using a fan brush to kind of just add some little splatters, and then I will let that dry. Again, I just, trying to balance my time with needing to dry things. So you can see here I'm having to go back in with some liquid glue where some of that tissue didn't get kind of adhered down very well. I was trying to hurry at the beginning, and I didn't get it all stuck down all the way. So on the back here, I want to indicate which number of the 100-day project this is. This is number 21, day 21. And the stamp set that I'm using is the Matthews Numbers set. The stamp set is available from By the Welfare God. I will put my affiliate link down below. I can't remember if it's still available, but I'll put my link down there. And then you can see me here. This is day 22. I'm just trying to figure out what I want to do. So I had pulled out this teal. This was another piece of like scrapbook paper that I had cut up when I created all of my bases. And then I also have this page from the Artist Almanac collage calendar, and I really just love these colors together, that kind of pink like color, and then with the teal, it's more of like a magenta. It's just really pretty. But the colors were in this Artist Almanac day, and it had that same teal that was for my background paper. So I just decided to go ahead and kind of collage this card. And I'm off screen here for a little bit. Was trying to find, usually I use like one of those really cheap makeup applicators whenever I'm trying to apply paint, when I want to do kind of a thin coat, and I couldn't find one. So I just had to grab what I could find, which was one of these little sponge paint brushes. Anyway, and then I went in with I just painted that onto some bubble wrap, and then used that, and it just gives the kind of effect on there. But those same little kind of dots or circles were in the background of this particular collage piece. And so I was just trying to kind of bring some of the images that were on that collage out onto my card just to make it seem like and feel like it's one piece. So there was some other kind of marks and different things. And so what I'm going to go in here and do now is I'm going to use this stencil. This is a Tim Holtz stencil. I think it's called Burlap, if I remember correctly. And with some black paint, this is some Dina Wakley black gesso, I'm going to go in and add this in a few different places around my card as well. This is what I'm talking about. Usually, like, I would use one of those really cheap, like, triangle makeup applicator things. They work really great, especially when you're working with paint and a stencil, because you really want a thin layer, because if you add too much, it can kind of get up underneath the stencil. So, but I just had to do with what I could find, which was that little sponge one, which was not my favorite way because it just soaks up all the paint. But anyway, you saw me there. I glued that piece down with my Yoo-Hoo glue stick. And then I'm just taking out a Posca pen that I have that's kind of in that same color. And this is where I'm really going to try to start taking some of the images that are on that collage piece and putting them into the background. So there was like half of a flower, and I'm just going around here and kind of creating the rest of the flower, but on the teal paper part. So it's going to kind of spill over. And I'm just using the teal Posca paint pen and then a white Uniball Signo. And this that I have right now is like a charcoal pencil, and just kind of doing some mark making and things, just again mimicking sort of what's in that collage paper. And then I just went around and added some more white in some different places and some more marks and different things. And I will have close-up video pictures at the end of this, and I'll also have pictures on my Instagram channel. I'm Minders78 there as well. So I was running out of time at this point, so I just had to use my paint pen to indicate that this was day 22. And now we're on to day 23, and I had this little bin of just basically scraps. I had this everywhere, and I'm trying to really go through and organize and do all this stuff in my craft area right now, and I just have all of these little, like, just random pieces of things that I have kept that, like, for someday I'm going to use or whatever. And they're great for, like, collage fodder and different things, and so they're actually perfect for these little tiny cards, because you don't need a lot of really anything to fill up a card. So I pulled out a bunch of things you can see over there to the right, and I had this little embellishment and that had the star on it. And this embellishment, I'm telling you, I made this, I don't even know how many years ago, like years and years and years ago. And it's just kind of been following me around my craft room, and it gets put different places. And so finally what I decided to do is just to pull that star off of it, and then I'm going to use that on my little card today. So I have this music paper that was created whenever I'm doing any kind of mixed media stuff or whatever, and involves paint and stencils and whatever. I always try to kind of mop up my extra with, book text or just other papers or whatever, because you can always use that down the line. And so that is exactly what this is. This is some music paper that I had put some extra paint on, and then I had some extra stenciling that I did, which is why the numbers are backwards, and I just had put that on there. And so I'm just going to use that and just glued that whole page down and then trimmed it off. And then I also had some of this really old scrapbook paper that just has numbers on it, which kind of mimics what the stenciling is. And I just wanted to use that. And then there are some like white like paint splatters and stuff in the background of this paper, so I'm adding some white to that star, and then I'm going to go around and add some more white to just kind of the edges of this card, just adding a little bit more interest, especially because the white on the right side, or on the left side there with those big numbers, is more bold. So I wanted to just make sure I had white kind of just in all of the sections. And then there's like a darker blue as well, and so I'm trying to just bring all of these colors together. So I'm adding a little bit of this teal color, like that's similar to what is in the background, up onto the star. And then the star actually has like a almost like a navy blue. So I grabbed another Posca paint pen here, and I'm just adding that color back into the background, just in some random places, just to kind of make these seem more like they go together. And then I'm using my punch here to punch my holes in my card. And this little star is actually going to stick up over the top of this card, which is fun. I want my cards to kind of have different sizes. Some of them are cut even different, you know, to different sizes and everything. And I like the things kind of hanging off and whatever, whenever I can. And then I felt like the little star just kind of needed a word, and I was not feeling particularly inspired, so I went with kind of the obvious. And I used my Dymo label maker, and I typed out the word shine, and then I just went around that with my white pen. And I'm using some liquid adhesive to kind of glue this star. I needed to make sure I had a good bit of adhesive because this star is actually like corrugated, so it's really bumpy, and I just needed to make sure it was going to stick really well. Excuse me. So I also went around this one with my black archival ink and it's black soot. That way I'd have a nice border around the edge, and then I'm just putting on the back that this is day 23. And then for day 24, this day actually went really pretty quickly. I had this paper that I thought I was going to use, and I have this matte paper. This was actually matte paper that was in that pile. I'm going to try to use up a lot of that pile, so you'll be seeing those scraps probably quite a bit in my next few videos. But I had this map section, and then that reminded me of this other section, or this other paper kit that I had from my Mind's Eye, and it was like travel related. I can't remember the name of it now. And so I just took one of the pattern papers from the 6x8 paper pad, and I really love this little row of houses, so I just kind of cut that out, and then I am going to go ahead and stick this down. I ended up changing the base that I was going to use because I knew I was going to cover the entire thing, and I really liked the kind of watercolor look on that other one, so I decided to just go ahead and add this map. This is like an actual map page, and I added that and glued that down, and then I'm going to add my little row of houses down here at the bottom, and then everything else for this goes by really quickly. It all comes together. It ends up being kind of busy, but I actually really like it. It's just a really fun page. So this page that I'm doing, one of the cities on there is Birmingham, and we're actually going to be visiting Birmingham soon. So it's just kind of fun little coincidence that happened there. So I'm just going through the sticker pack here and just pulling out some stickers that I want to put on here, and just making a little cluster. This paper set was called Cityscapes, you can see there. And so I'm just adding a few little things, and then I'm going to add one of the little geo things over here on the right, and that is going to be basically it. I felt like there just needed to be one little sticker, so I'm kind of going through here, and I found a little globe, and I think it was a globe, and added that on there. Now I'm just stamping. Sorry for the shaking of my my camera there. And then again, going around with my distress ink here on the back, or on the front, to just kind of create the border, and then on the back I'm going to indicate that this is day 24. And I'm at this point I'm like looking all over for my stamp set that I have been using, and I couldn't find it, so I just went ahead and used a Tombow marker. So here are some close-ups. If you liked this video, I would appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And until next time, bye bye.